You're listening to DraftKings Network.
This episode is brought to you by Experian. Are you paying for subscriptions you don't use but can't find the time or energy to cancel them? Experian could cancel unwanted subscriptions for you, saving you an average of $270 per year and plenty of time. Download the Experian app. Results will vary. Not all subscriptions are eligible. Savings are not guaranteed. Paid membership with connected payment account required.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB de CV. Copyright 2024. Próximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
Shadow Show.
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 Shadowing it.
Shadowing it. Stugotz bounced in here today, and I don't know what the reason for it is. Whether it's that it is the original crew in the shipping container. I believe this is the crew that's done more shows than any crew in the history of the show, or it's the rare Greg Cote Monday.
It's Hawaii midnight game. I mean, that's really what it is. College football, it gets underway, Dan. I shaved for it. I'm excited for it.
It's back.
It is back. Yes.
Yes, and the Florida State Seminoles somehow played 2 games in week 1.
Huh.
It's a historical anomaly.
Really?
They play the first game on the 24th. They play the last game on September 2nd, and they're both considered week 1. How about that?
The thing that makes this a Greg Cote Monday, and this is very exciting.
Greg, I hate to confuse you more, but there isn't a week 1 doubleheader.
Yeah.
It starts with week 0. What is happening between Georgia Tech and Florida State and Dublin is now classified by college football and its fans as week 0.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. It used to be called week 0, and they homogenized it so that it's all called week 1 now. If you, just as an example, if you go to ESPN schedule,
he's right. I mean,
it says week 1. It does not say week 0.
I understand what you're doing, but it is commonly referred to as week 0, the season before, like the real season.
Okay, the commoners refer to it as
it's kind of like a shadow week.
Okay.
Shadow week.
All right. Technically, FSU plays 2 games in week 1. That kind of thing, so forth and so on.
Wait a minute, what? There's been an addition to that kind of thing?
Yeah.
So forth and so on. It's added. Why did it add an appendage from the House of Commons?
Well, it's you want to elaborate, so forth and so on. It's conjecture.
Yeah.
It leaves it to the listener to know what I mean.
I do want to commend everything that was going on, the Panthers Cup run, the Olympics, the world falling apart. This football offseason really felt short.
I just got a buoyant radiance that swept over me because Sal Pal was chatting with Mike Tomlin on my television.
Oh, my God. It's back.
I felt like I was transported to a different time. 15 years ago, that interview could have been.
That's still week 0 coverage because week 1, Sal Pal, he's planted in front of the Eagles complex.
That's right, but this is what's warning me that we're doing the calisthenics, getting ready for football season. But the thing that I didn't know, Greg Cote's in here on a Greg Cote Monday because he's got a very busy week. And the busy week is because newspapers have, and you guys remember these from your childhood, special sections before football that are just all football.
The best.
High school football, college football, professional football. And once upon a time, you'd get, Ricky Williams to take a picture with a bulldozer and 5 offensive linemen.
Yeah.
But there's no way that those players are doing anything for newspapers anymore.
No, hell no.
So I can't even imagine what the special section cover. Those cover arts, those things would signal football season, and they'd be beautiful. They would be like magazine covers, and there's just
for the full color ink.
There's just no way that that's what they look like anymore.
Yeah, I have no idea. I can't speak to that, but you're right. You're not going to get the start. You're not going to get Tyreek Hill, in a helicopter.
I used to stroll into Florida Christian homeroom, get 3 of those bad boy niche edition, fully devoted to high school, college, and pro edition. And I would just sit at my desk and open up a newspaper like a 60-year-old man married to Lucille Ball.
Larry Bluestein. I mean,
No. But what Stugotz is doing is recruiting. I'm talking about the Miami Herald would
in
win.
the high school,
Miami Herald would win awards every year because they produce, correct me if I'm wrong, Greg, 7 special football sections. Because it wasn't just high school. It'd be all the pros. I don't even know what the 7 categories were, but they had 7 categories.
Yeah, there was. I can tell you, we don't do that anymore for budget reasons and whatever. But I think the categories used to be NFL, Dolphins, college football, high schools.
The rest of the state, I think. Didn't Florida State and Florida, didn't they do something?
I think I remember that.
That was under colleges. Yeah,
Right.
I think we had 5 special sections, if I remember. And you got to write for them all. So that's why August is literally my busiest month of the year. And now I'm on call for jury duty. I'm out there doing my civic duty. I'm a patriotic American. Damn right. I want jury duty. I want to get on that jury. I want to be selected. I hope once in my life a judge recognized me and spent 5 minutes in an open court talking to me about football. I hope that doesn't happen.
The dream, huh?
Yeah, the dream.
You do hope that happens. You hope that happens.
Well, I hope it happens beforehand. I hope they just tell me no when I call today. No, you don't have to show up at 7:45 and wait in a mass of people for 4 hours to decide whether you're going to be deciding whether some guy ran a red light and barely injured somebody else.
What section called you? What branch? I hit the Triple Crown this year. I got hit by all of them.
Wow.
Civil, federal, and criminal.
Wow.
And I got selected for one of them. I didn't think it was possible. I'd always call them and tell them like I just did. They're like, no, that was the other one. So they all got me within a calendar year.
Yeah, I generally play the journalism card because when you tell them that you're a professional journalist, usually that will negate you from serving on
what
a
happened
jury.
to civic duty? Hell yeah. What happened? All of that.
You know what? If they call me, I will serve.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Because you have
thank
to
you.
by law.
His duty is
When
to show
called,
up.
I
You
will
have to
serve.
call them, though. I
I know.
It's by law. You're doing something illegal if you don't. That's the barest low minimum to meet the threshold of legality.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Today's episode is sponsored by DraftKings. Stay tuned because you'll hear more about DraftKings and all it has to offer throughout the show. DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Happy Greg Cote Monday. As a special gift, we've got a returning Billy Gil from vacation. And Billy, I feel like we really missed out because during the Olympics, we all found out more and more about your pole vaulting calamity. And it turns out I've learned since during your vacation, that there's more to that story that you have not yet told. There were parts of that story that were left out on your epic collapse in pole vaulting. I don't know how
When
it
I
took
missed
us.
the pads?
Yes, when you missed
I
the
had a number of incidents. I had a number of injuries. I could regale you with pole vaulting injury stories all day if you want.
I do want. I've missed those. That it was missing from our coverage last week. We will get to Greg Cote and the Dolphins and preseason football in a second because we've got some Tua sound that I want to play for Greg Cote and ask him, the resident historian of the Miami Dolphins, if he's heard the quarterback sound quite this way. We're going to play that sound in a second. But what's the pole vaulting story I missed?
Well, I mean, the story that I told you is when I missed the pads and I hit the metal box and that I then laid down in my car embarrassed until a family member was able to get me and take me to the hospital because I couldn't drive my stick shift car because I'd destroyed my shoulder and it still clicks to this day. I guess the part I didn't tell you is that my coach feared I was paralyzed because he came running around the pads and was like, "Can you move? Can you move?" And I could, luckily, and I wasn't paralyzed.
But how is it that it took us 20 years to get the full story on your pole vaulting? Our pole vaulting
I was probably
expert?
concussed, if I'm going to be honest with you, because I banged my head into my shoulder and was very woozy in that situation. There's another time I stabbed. This is early on in my career where I stabbed myself in my leg with my cleat. So I probably shouldn't have been using metal spikes at the time, because I was just learning how to do it, and I went up, and this is before I knew form, and I stabbed myself in the leg with my spike, and then I got a gash. I had to leave the competition to then go and put stitches, but it was before I had technically lost. So then after I got the stitches, because pole vaulting's so long, I went back to the competition and the event was still happening. And then they asked me, do you want to do your other attempts? We can have you do the attempt. And I think the rule, if I remember correctly, is since I didn't lose, I still had attempts, and I was attempting 6 feet at the time because it was my first year doing it, and I was 5'3" or something, and they were up to 12 feet. They're like, do you want to take your next 2 attempts at 12 feet? And I was like, no, I think I'm good. I'm going to recover from this. Then, here's this one. You guys are going to like this one. So when I was in college, Dan, I don't know why you asked for this, but you asked for it, so I'm giving it to you. When I was in college, I had a really bad ankle sprain, one that prevented me from competing and even practicing, but I have to go in and I have to do therapy nonstop every day for months. I'd have to go in. I did the thing the stim or whatever it was called, where they put the little stickies on your leg and they shoot electricity through you, and that's supposed to help you. And then they ask you do you feel that? And I would always lie and say no, to the point that my toes were actually curling because they turned the machine all the way up. I was trying to see how much pain I could deal with. So anyways, I finally recovered from this. The coach is mad at me because there'd be days that I just go in and I do therapy. First practice attempt, when I came back in practice, I go up, and they always tell you land on your back, don't land on your feet. You could, twist an ankle, and I thought, I already twisted an ankle. I'm all taped up. I'm fine. Go up, land, twist the other ankle, laying down on the ground, missed another month. Coach was livid. Livid. I'm shocked Coach Rubin kept me on that team.
I've got a number of follow-up questions, and the answer to your question, why would you go to me on this? Because you've been off for a week, and it's a Greg Cote Monday, and it's kind of like deflating a tire when you're in the 40s and you need to get it down a little bit. I need to get all of this out at the beginning of the week.
Do you need to? I've always wondered
I don't think you do.
The tire says you got to have it at 36, and it's at 38. Do you let it out to 36? I sometimes ride with it.
I like to overinflate.
Yeah.
I like to underinflate.
Really?
That's not advisable.
Why?
Well, I'm moving on run flat tires, so they can run on 20 pounds.
Things are good in the newspaper industry.
I've run on 18 pounds.
So you're testing them out? Or?
Yeah, I mean they're fine. Don't worry about that. They're
Why would you go lower than the
because when you overinflate, you feel like you're running on hard tires. The ride is not as smooth. The ride is bumpier,
uneven.
Yeah. It's I much prefer. Now you want the perfectly inflated tire, but if you're going to err, you err on an underinflated tire, in my opinion.
I disagree. At Batard Show, put it on the poll, Juju. At Batard Show, which do you prefer, overinflated tire or underinflated tire?
Got to go under.
How did your cleats cut you while you were going over the bar? You kind of scissor kicked your feet and you cut yourself. How many stitches?
You go up and then you go like this, and then I went like that, and I stabbed myself. I know that's good for the visual, but look, see, I have Mike can attest. See, look, I have a little scar there.
Look at that. Confirm.
Look at that scar. Look at this scar. Look at this big scar. On
battle
my leg.
Scars, huh?
Look at that.
You remember Lethal Weapon 3?
It's a big scar.
No.
Was it 2 or 3? No, I think it was 3. Where he starts comparing scars with Rene Russo. I'm like a dog with a bone on this one.
Stitches, Billy? How many stitches?
On that one, oof. That one was a gory one. I think that was 3 stitches, maybe.
And so you competed right afterward? You got back to the meet? Oh, no.
I went back to the meet. I did not compete.
Okay.
Wow. This is when I was first starting. I was using the pink girls pole because I didn't even have a pole for how little I was. I was 5'3", 95 pounds.
Lethal Weapon 3.
I read the other day, correct me if this is incorrect, Mondo, the pole vaulting champion, that he breaks the record by a centimeter each time, even though he could go over by much more, because he gets a $100,000 bonus every time he breaks it by a centimeter.
Yeah,
that's a heady play.
He's using the pole vault as an ATM.
So he has, from what I read, and it's probably the same article as you, he has conditions with his sponsors that he gets anywhere between $30,000 and $100,000 every time he sets a world record. So he'll just go up 1 centimeter at a time.
Yeah, see, that's where you need me as the commissioner of all sports, including Olympics. You go by 1 inch increments. You don't go by centimeters. That's ridiculous. Nobody can see the difference. If you raise the pole by
1 inch. 1 inch? No, people win by quarters of an inch.
In my Olympics.
You're going to get ties.
It's 1-inch increments.
Yeah, but Greg, he gets a bonus every time he breaks it.
I know, but that's a loophole that we got to close. Are you kidding me?
I mean, it has to be centimeters. I mean, it's an international competition. It needs to be the metric system.
No, we don't do the metric system.
Here he is again. I mean, earlier in the week, the more xenophobic and more stubbornly American he becomes he gets to decide what the rules are for the world.
1-inch increments.
Did you guys watch the jump off in the Olympics and the high jump?
No.
There were two high jumpers that they were tied, and they each won a share of the gold. And they decided, no, thank you. Let's just keep jumping to see who wins this.
Oh, we talked about this the other day, that the U.S. would have won if they had just taken the tie there. We would have had more golds than anybody if we had just decided that. But they decided, no, they wanted to be competitive, and one of them needed to win. And then the U.S. lost.
How much do you have to hate New Zealand? How much? Like, it's a great moment. We both share the first place medal stand, but let's keep jumping. And then it affected the U.S.'s overall medal count.
I mean,
just not a good move.
If you're a competitor, do you really want to just tie?
Right.
Like, you want to win.
No one wants
gold.
to share anything. Right.
I think you go to the Olympics with the hopes and dreams that you get to introduce yourself one day as an Olympic gold medalist. No one's going to check you on, hey, you're a co-Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah. At the Miami-Dade County Championship in 2005, I'll tell you this. We had the opportunity to end in a tie or go to a jump-off at Tropical Park, and they didn't have lights by the pole vault pit. So the people that were organizing the event said, hey, we would not advise you to continue jumping because this is not lit. This is not safe. And you know what we said? We're jumping.
Yes.
We're jumping.
That is Miami style.
We're figuring this out.
Pole vaulting in the dark. No liability issues there.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Meadowlark Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they've made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So, if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply.
Dan Le Batard.
You were that kind of sad this morning, taking the barrage of anger from Stugotz because you hadn't booked him enough interviews. The only reason I keep bringing this up is because you are throwing a big party on Thursday. You're doing it, and I want people to support what you're doing because Stugotz has not made this easy.
Stugotz.
Well, you know, yeah, you know.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
I want to recap with Stugotz and Chris Cote. We went out to Dolphin Camp, Greg, and it's always unusual to me the things that people get excited about around here. Chris Cote, with a lot of responsibilities now, was insistent that he go to Dolphin Camp. He wanted to do this. He was very eager to do this.
He did a great job. I mean, I must say.
And one of the people that we talked to while we were out there, we'll play most of these interviews next week, but we wanted to get you some of the Tua stuff just because I think Chris and Stugotz and I want to be careful about this because I thought the interview in general was interesting. And my takeaway, if I'm doing pop psychology in 20 minutes, I know you and Amin, Stugotz, say that he's got the contract, that's the reason that he's a more confident-sounding quarterback.
I think it's the contract and the fact that he has a coach that really believes in him.
Okay, but yes. I would say it's you don't lead the league in passing by accident or fluke. Like, you will have real confidence that you are exceptional at your job when you lead the league in passing yards, and now you've got another system, another year in the system of improvement with the same stability. And so, yes, it can be all of those things, but when I think of going to a workplace where the people believe in me, and more to the point, I believe in me, I was surprised. I had not heard Tua say this about Flores before. So you guys tell me if I have this wrong. We've all heard about what that relationship was like, but listen to the frost thawing and a quarterback who feels differently with a team that's his. Can you explain to us, last question before we get you out, can you explain to us the difference in practical terms between having a coach who did believe in you the way that he did, and the difference between that and what was happening with Flores?
Yeah. Well, to put it in simplest terms, if you woke up every morning and I told you you sucked at what you did, that you don't belong doing what you do, that you shouldn't be here, that this guy should be here, that you haven't earned this right, and then you have somebody else come in and tell you, dude, you are the best fit for this. Like, you are accurate, you are the best whatever, you are this, you are that. Like, how would it make you feel listening to one or the other? You see what I'm saying? And then you hear it, regardless of what it is, the good or the bad. And you hear it more and more, you start to actually believe that. I don't care who you are. You could be the president of the United States. You have a terrible person that's telling you things that you don't want to hear, or that you probably shouldn't be hearing. You're going to start to believe that about yourself. And so that's sort of like what ended up happening. And it was, I mean, it's basically been, 2 years of training that out of not just me, but, a couple of the guys as well that have been here since my rookie year all the way till now.
We all had the same reaction to that, was to notice how awkward and uncomfortable Chris Cote was in his short shorts in the middle of that couch sitting next to Tua.
Who picked the middle for me?
Who picked shorts?
You did. You picked the middle. You picked shorts.
It was 1,000 degrees out there. I thought we were going to be outside.
Nice knees.
You look so awkward.
Wow, that is a damn shame, man.
Dan asked us the night before to clean it up. I mean,
can we talk about this for a second?
Dirty Gatorade cup also on the table.
No, that
was mine.
Someone's doing laundry. It looks like they're just folded clothes.
That was Tua's glass. I took it. I mean,
that is the Tua smoothie. Stugotz was sipping from it the whole time, hoping that Tua would notice that his name was right on the sticker, because Stugotz stole his smoothie from the fridge. Let's look at Chris Cote here for a second, though, and just drink in this particular awkwardness. I want you to know how much it costs me the night before to send two adult human beings, Chris Cote, Stugotz, hey, clean it up a little for tomorrow. Stugotz, can you shave? Can you?
I did.
And so then Stugotz asked me, what's that mean? And I'm just like, presentable. Just, can you be presentable? And then look what Chris Cote decides to dress up in.
1,000 degrees. It was outside.
We stole the Dolphin Golf Simulator. There were a bunch of players lined up outside trying to get in.
Dan told us, Chris, I love you, but the night before he did tell us we're inside air-conditioned room.
I had seen the slacks. I didn't think it was 1,000%. It was still up in the air.
Regardless, you deserve to look every bit that awkward. Cote, any theories as to the quarterback you're hearing there? I have not heard him call his previous coach a terrible person before.
No, that was strong language. And keep in mind, because of the relationship he had with Flores, that's why you had the owner, Stephen Ross, not so much in the background, but right in the quarterback's face, going after Deshaun Watson, and then going after Tom Brady to a degree that they lost the first-round draft pick for tampering. So he put up with 2 or 3 years of absolute shit down here in terms of not being respected by his own team, which I've written in a couple of different columns. And that was a good interview, because you're right, you teed him up, but he didn't defer. He went all in on what you were hoping by that question.
We will play the full interview for you at the end of the show. But I will say again, I felt like I was talking to an adult. The other times I have talked to Tua, when he came out of college, unbelievably guarded, super, super careful, but also not yet formed. Like, not just a year at Alabama as a college kid. You're not yet media savvy. Didn't have a lot to say. The second time, he went through the battering of the concussion stuff and, again, had to be guarded because of the time period he was in. This was a person who was liberated. Like, this is not a person who's going to be afraid to talk in front of cameras, measuring his every word all season.
It's a person who has the belief of his head coach. He believes in himself. His teammates believe in him, and he has the money to back it up, all that belief. And it's a guy who also has 2 kids. I mean, it's a big difference.
Yeah, 2 kids. That's a lot of good theories as to why he's found renewed confidence.
Yeah.
Can I throw another theory out at you? New teeth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brand new smile. Brand new smile. That is a $1 million smile right there on the left. New look on the right. Last season's headshot. I conclude my investigation. I've seen all I need to see.
He's an expert, Dan.
A great new smile from a great young man.
I think that's unfair. The Dolphins giving us access, and now you're reporting exclusively in this vanity correspondent lane that you've taken up. I think Barkley had fake teeth when he was on with us the last time. Those teeth look new to me.
I mean, it would be one of the first things that I do when I have that kind of income. Yeah, why not? Even if Tua had a beautiful smile last season.
Yeah, he did.
It's not a bad smile, but if I can just augment it, make it perfect, I would. Tua, renewed confidence? Possibly, because of a new smile.
Also, just sitting next to me for a half hour.
That helps.
Yeah, made him feel better.
I really enjoyed how awkward it was for Dolphins to turn to their right and have your Tostitos breath right in their face. Like, that you were much too close to some of these people. They have never been interviewed by somebody whose face is that close to their face. And you always had fluffers coming out and pulling your T-shirt out for you because...
Oh, that's the move. I've been there for quite a while. You turn a corner, you tug the shirt.
I was like, the middle, huh? You want me in the middle? Fine.
How did you feel about the experience?
Like when in SNL, whenever Chris Farley had to play a child.
I got disturbed when I saw him sniffing River Craycraft out of the shower.
He moved closer.
Look at that look from Chris. He knows. He knows.
Chris, now explain to me, you never want to go out to Marlins with a great deal of zeal. Is this because this team has been handed down from your father and in your household that you care about this team more than you care about all the others?
I wouldn't say I care about this team more, but this is just this moment in Dolphins history. Like, these rosters, this year and last year, are the best rosters of my life, and I'm just super into these teams. And I know how you can kind of get awkward sometimes, so you need the levity of me to balance out the awkwardness of you sometimes.
Did you tell Tua that you wanted them to get rid of him in favor of Justin Fields?
I left that part out.
He didn't. No.
I should have mentioned that part, but we were cooking with him. I'm telling you, I don't want to oversell this interview, but me and Stugotz looked at each other multiple times throughout the interview of just like, holy crap, Tua is impressive. Yep. He's saying things, so it's a good listen.
You are overselling it.
It sucked.
I don't know. Yeah.
Somewhere in between?
Yeah, any subtlety. Like, if you're capable of any subtlety whatsoever.
It was just okay.
I don't like that it's just okay is where we've landed with Mike accusing the new quarterback or the quarterback of new teeth.
I think we can use language like accusation and cast it by the wayside. This is the truth. This is unmitigated truth. This is not an allegation. Those teeth are very different, and they are perfect. And he is a perfect young man. And if I were there, I would be wearing pants, and I would congratulate him on his brand new $1 million smile.
Wow. Let me say something on behalf of the Dolphins, because Greg Cote is a certified homer, all right? He has somehow found the magical space where the last couple of years he has predicted a Dolphin Super Bowl. They have not won a single playoff game, and Greg Cote still feels victorious and correct in his prediction just because they're good at offense. And because we know them to be good at offense, and everyone in Miami is lightheaded because good at offense hasn't been something that's been around here since Marino. So people are crazed about the fact that they know they're good at something offensively that everyone in the league wants to have.
I think I'm aware of the social construct that if someone fixes something that is an obvious improvement, you're not supposed to say, hey, man, that's great. But what are we really doing? Are we subscribing to the notion that magically Tua's teeth improved and got better without any help? No, I think people do this for the compliments. Therefore, I am complimenting not just the smile, but the work that went into it.
You're making an accusation.
I think this is the only show breaking down to his teeth.
Well, I didn't want to do that. This is not where I wanted to break down the words. But again, typical superficiality of Miami. Instead of the words, it's the smile.
Guys, I'm not a Dolphin fan, but I am a fan of being able to seize on what people have done.
Greg Cote
to themselves.
Greg Cote is not a fan of seeing what people have done to themselves because the last 2 seasons have ended in epic Dolphin failure.
Yes,
but
epic.
Greg Cote feels right saying this before last season.
I mean, I could talk for the whole show about why they're a better team and why they're better than Buffalo. A couple of reasons are Tua is going to stay healthy all year. He's going to play all 17 games.
Okay, very
He's not going to miss a single game.
Okay.
Vic Fangio is the god, the lowercase g there. No offense to anybody. He's the god of defensive coordinators.
Right,
and they're ready to do it, man. Mike McDaniel digging in to his second season. He's familiar now. He's more comfortable.
Yep.
They're ready. They're ready. Dolphins haven't been to a Super Bowl in almost 40 years since Dan Marino's 1984, and they're ready. They're going to do it. And you know it, by the way.
Good.
I have to say that because what I'm saying,
Glad you said it.
What I'm saying is more than just my opinion. You can etch it in stone, bring it to a tablet, put it on your back like you're Moses, walk into a bank and deposit that tablet. Because I'm talking the truth here, spitting it. Damn right. It's just coffee. It's
And you know it.
And you know it. And you know it. You know it.
Here he is. Look at him admiring his own work.
Incredible.
No, it's him looking into him.
Echoing damn right. A year apart.
At the same exact
Same, knowing the cadence.
Had no idea it was coming.
Yes, that is how much he's in reruns that he absolutely knows the notes of where to hit the damn right and you know it, so on and so forth.
Damn right.
But seriously, like Tom Brady shows up on your screen for week 1 of his Fox assignment, and he's got what you could only classify as jet brown hair. Like, come on, we can. Like, you're trying to get one over on us. Like, you do this for a reason.
It's just not necessary. You've been doing this since you did it to the fake teeth of Sal Powell a long time ago.
I have one fake tooth here. This one was a little small for my wedding. Got a little bit bigger of a tooth because I was insecure about my smile. Presently, my sideburns are aging more rapidly than the rest of my beard. So on the sideburns, just for men, medium brown. Also, I've had a hairline come back a little bit thanks to some Keeps and some biotin shampoo. So my cards are out on the table, folks.
Dolphins played this week. There's a game. Are we just not going to talk about Jason Sanders keeps missing field goals?
Oh, here we go.
Ouch.
You got your eye on him? Or?
One eye at the moment. One eye is on him.
We're back onto one eye?
Just one eye.
You had one eye on him all of last season and it never became a thing.
Last season he was put on notice.
Had one round of Ozempic, but that offsets the medication that made me fat in the first place. Haven't done Botox yet, considering.
Greg Cote, the thing that I wanted to say about the Dolphins, because I have seen a seismic shift in this town that I am really grateful for. Because the Miami Dolphins were the first big team, because the Miami Dolphins made Miami matter in some ways to the rest of the country back when Don Shula was running things, the Miami Dolphins have dominated with arrogance before the last 15 years this entire market. It has been an arrogant organization that came off of the winningest franchise in sports through that time. And I am so grateful to have just a totally different environment at Dolphin camp than there has ever been. Now, I don't know what they're doing corporately in terms of sponsorships where they've been renowned to be assholes, but since Jason Jenkins got into the community and started doing things, the Dolphins have become less and less arrogant as an organization. It may have something to do with the fact that the Heat and the Panthers have kicked their ass the last 20 years. And so the Dolphins haven't mattered, but the humility that's actually come out of that facility, I'm talking about employees all over the place. I'm talking about the way that stuff sinks in when you have a culture of a Flores or a Belichick type, or you have the culture of a Shula or a Jimmy Johnson who come from a different time. That's not the way that place is being run right now.
Presently sucking in my stomach and also wearing stickers on my nipples to appear less fat in this shirt. Don't believe me? I'll show you.
Wow.
Wow. No, you're right about that. And Nick Saban was down here for a couple of years as well to fit that previous superiority thing. I haven't noticed a direct change. I deal with them sort of on a daily, weekly basis during football. They treat me the same, but I don't disagree with you. There was a franchise arrogance for years But when the Heat start winning championships, in the last 5 years, the Panthers have been great. It changes you. And here they are. We're praising the Dolphins, but they're in the midst of a 23-year NFL worst playoff victory drought, which hasn't ended yet. And until they end that, they're far from where they want to be.
2-0 in the preseason, though.
Doesn't Stephen Ross and Mike McDaniel deserve some credit for that, for what you're feeling coming out of Dolphins camp? Because they do this poll every offseason, and players are saying that's the best place to work in the NFL. That's the best environment to work in the NFL. And Mike McDaniel, man, that guy is electric. Like, he brings energy every single day.
Stephen Ross has been a terrible owner for 20 years.
Yeah.
I think he's been a good
results-wise.
Results-wise, yes.
Results-wise.
Yes, you're right.
That's the standard. No, but the fan doesn't care whether the guys have air conditioning that's nice in the locker room. The standard's results, and he's been terrible as an owner in terms of results.
Wow, hard disagree. Hard disagree.
How can you disagree? Did you not hear what he just said? In a league parity salary cap, they have no playoff victories in 23 years. By definition, that's the worst.
I would say that comparatively to some of the other owners, we're comparing them to the Robbies. They had some success.
The Robbies went bankrupt building that stadium so that football could live here.
Okay, well, I think he's done a lot for the stadium, the entire venue, and I think that his biggest missteps were always trying to improve the team. He got some stuff wrong. I think he's on the right track. It's irrefutable. He's got a great-looking quarterback. He's got a great head coach. He's got a great stadium that he's presently in. He made some missteps in trying to acquire the greatest quarterback of all time. I think calling him a terrible owner is harsh. That's where I draw the line.
I'm just basing it on results.
On results, right. Dan is right. You can't question that.
Right. The 23-year playoff victory drought is largely on Stephen Ross. I agree with what you said about the facility improvement. He has turned Hard Rock Stadium into a mecca of sports with F1.
Okay, but you guys are sitting here giving him a standing ovation for being great as a businessman.
Sit and give a standing ovation.
Which he is. We covered this last week. Thank you, Billy.
Smirnoff knows there's no I in football. It's a we thing, an experience best enjoyed together. Whether you're home or away, we rally together, we cry together, and we always rally cry together. Because in fandom, there's definitely no I. Smirnoff is the perfect vodka for crafting delicious cocktails that are easy to make and versatile for any fans over 21. As the world's #1 vodka and the official vodka partner of the NFL, Smirnoff brings an award-winning taste to every game day celebration. With a rich history dating back to 1864, Smirnoff is all about igniting the collective spirit. So when it's time to cheer on your favorite team, remember, we do game days with Smirnoff. Share the moment, share the spirit, and make every game day memorable. Drink responsibly. Smirnoff bringing fans together, one cocktail at a time. Grab a bottle of Smirnoff at your local retailer and head to Smirnoff.com to find recipes of delicious cocktails perfect for game day. Please drink responsibly. Smirnoff No. 21 Vodka, distilled from grain, 40% alcohol by volume. The Smirnoff Company, New York, New York. Please do not share with anyone under legal drinking age.
Dan Le Batard.
Is there back in my day?
There is, actually.
What? Were you not going to tell anyone?
What?
Wait a minute.
You guys,
Wait
a
minute.
It's a Tuesday.
Stugotz. Here's your guy, Greg Cote, with Back in My Day.
I hope I have it. Okay, here it is. Sorry. Adultery.
We are back.
I've been waiting for this one.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Old Bones Roy, still caring about the things that the old people care about when they gather around on Sunday morning and watch the CBS Sunday Morning Magazine.
Great show.
Roy just informed me that we have lost Phil Donahue at the age of 88 years old. I almost think of him as the original daytime talk show host. Was there anyone before him? A daytime, when television in the daytime became a thing and you needed daily guests to fill out a show, was there somebody who did that before in America than Phil Donahue did, where they have all the big guests, all the important guests before the proliferation of television all over the place?
I mean, this show started in 1969, so It would be hard to find anybody who really started that. I mean, he's pioneering.
Yeah, I don't think there was anyone before him, but I've been, what are you squinting your face at, Billy?
The first person to do everything all of a sudden is a pioneer. It's a bit much.
That's how pioneers work.
Yeah, but I feel like the first person to do it gets credit for being so great just because they're the first. I mean, it's better people come after the first. I mean, it's called improvement.
Oftentimes, the people that do it first don't get the credit. But was Morton Downey Jr. ahead of?
No, that was well after. He coarsened it.
Yeah, Iron Man. He used to. I believe it was his dad.
Yeah.
Isn't he now like another comic book guy too?
How about Dick Cavett? Wasn't Dick Cavett the original?
He was at night, though.
Well, he was at night.
Yeah,
he was
daytime.
Yeah.
Different thing.
I guess.
Right. Yes.
Right.
But Phil Donahue was great. He also had wonderful teeth, to Mike's point.
Real or fake?
Donahue had a set in his mouth, I'll tell you that.
That was before fake teeth. I think fake teeth is a relatively recent phenomenon.
Well, no, George Washington had
wooden teeth.
Right.
Would.
They
would. Yeah.
That's a misnomer. George Washington never had wooden teeth.
Oh, really?
It is
Never
not a
had
misnomer.
wood teeth.
No, he definitely did. I saw a documentary on George Washington just the other day because I'm in that phase of my life.
Early onset Republican.
Yeah, early onset Republican, watching World War II docs and learning about our American Revolution. That's where I'm at.
Okay, they're pulling the wool over your eyes, just like you still think there's a week 0 in college football. Not happening. G. Washington never had wood teeth.
What can you give us in the way of facts here? What are you telling?
Okay,
You're telling. We need to get this right.
It's like a duck with a bone.
Okay, we need to get this one right.
I do. Look, as soon as I was saying what I was saying about fake teeth, I could feel Billy rising up with our founding fathers chattering away with their wooden teeth.
It says legend has it. Whenever it says legend has it, it usually isn't right.
Okay.
Let me read something real quick. Legend has it that Washington had wooden teeth, but the museum's historians state that's not true. The appearance of his dentures may have looked wooden, particularly after they had been stained, but wood was not used in constructing any of his dental fittings.
Wow.
People had bad teeth back then.
He had really bad teeth.
No, people had terrible hygiene and terrible teeth back in that day.
Why do you think that was?
I need to correct myself. Well, when did toothpaste get invented?
That's a great question.
Great
question. After George,
not a
that's
founding
for sure.
father,
Yeah.
but are you going to watch a documentary that shines a light on how Abraham Lincoln was gay?
When was the toothbrush invented? When was toothpaste invented?
Specifically, spotlights 4 of his lovers.
And flossing.
Medicine seemed to be kind of crazy back in the day. Like, anyone could be a doctor, right? It's just like, oh, I have my arms falling off. Like, here's a shot of whiskey. That'll take care of it. That'll do you. And it's like, what? No.
The practice of bloodletting, in theory, I get what they were going for.
Didn't they just cure things with cocaine at a certain time?
Leeches,
Leeches
that's
before
crazy.
that. Right. Yes.
1824 on toothpaste.
I'm seeing 1780 for the first mass-produced toothbrush.
Okay.
Well, why did they make a brush with no paste?
The brush before
What'd
the
you
paste.
do?
Maybe they used water at the beginning.
Soap or
I've done that. I use
maybe
water.
whiskey.
Cart before the horse.
It took them 4 years before they realized this needs to taste a little better. Old George is trying to clean his teeth there. He's got terrible breath while he's signing the Declaration of Independence.
So smelly. Must have been so bad.
Right? It had to be terrible. But
People thought that they died of like natural causes. People just didn't want to live anymore with how much everybody smelled.
Just think about like oral sex.
okay, why did we do that?
Well, that's where the mind goes.
That's not where everyone's mind goes. That's not where
Speak for yourself.
necessarily anyone's mind goes.
Cunnilingus.
I need to make a
Fellatio.
correction.
We were
Okay?
talking about Phil Donahue, by the way.
Yes, I need to make
And
a
Lincoln's
correction.
gay lovers.
Yeah, by the way, Lincoln used to store important documents in his stovepipe hat. I just read that.
Really?
Yeah, the Gettysburg Address was written in a piece of paper that was in his hat. He used to carry important government documents in his hat. I found that interesting.
Was there a compartment or just sat on his head?
Just sat right on his head.
No, there's got to be a
No,
compartment.
sat right on his
No,
head.
he didn't
legend
have,
has
he
it.
didn't have a bunch of important classified documents on atop his hat.
That's
That's
a
not
fact,
true.
Jack.
No,
It's a different time,
It's not
Dan.
a fact,
Different
Jack.
time.
Yes,
People
it
didn't
is.
put out.
It's not a fact of any kind.
Look it up.
No, I believe he had compartments in his hat. He wasn't just. You can't keep the papers on the top of a top hat. They'd fly off.
No, on the top of his head, covered by the top hat.
Yeah.
Who has compartments in their hat? There's no such thing as hat
Cam Newton
compartments.
for sure.
Kind of the way you made
no
it
doubt.
seem.
Cam's a good answer. Donahue was good at sex, right?
Yeah.
We
I
agree.
always got him.
We all agree?
No, don't go sit in the penalty
married
box.
to
Where the
Whoa!
mind goes, Dan. It's where the mind goes.
It's not
He
where
also
the
looked
mind
like
goes.
Leslie Nielsen in
I
a
mean, I was trying to
disguise.
bring it back to Donahue. I mean,
We've got a major penalty, 5 minutes, derailing.
It's going to be Dr. Doom, Billy.
The thing that I was trying to say, because of course, yes, there were fake teeth in the 1770s, and also dentures are fake teeth as well.
Phil Donahue was also in the Naked Gun sequel, by the way, and Leslie Nielsen kind of intimidated him while going into an awards show.
So other people.
That's reference to what Mike was saying.
Other people connected those dots.
The teeth I'm talking about is the Sal Pal version. I think that's a recent phenomenon to get just veneers. I don't know how long.
Yeah, I would make an accusation there, but I know he doesn't like you, so I don't want to get him back to him.
I have an important update here, and this is from AbrahamLincolnOnline.org. For many years, Lincoln used his hat as a mini briefcase, stashing letters and documents in the lining, not in a special compartment, but in the lining.
Greg,
that's a compartment.
I ask you this. Why would he be hiding letters? What is he hiding in those letters?
Jeez. Okay.
Wait to see.
I don't think we should be outing Abraham Lincoln.
We
Imagine
didn't.
if that
Dude,
one
this
day
is-
at the play you had a bunch of letters in there.
It's
could have changed.
It's common knowledge that Abraham Lincoln
I don't think
had
it's
male
common
partners.
knowledge.
So what?
I don't
What's wrong
believe-
with that?
No,
I'm not saying that.
no, I'm not saying
Why
anything's
you guys
wrong
say
with
there's
it,
a
but like, why are
problem
we
with that?
ignoring it? He wasn't exactly covert with his operations.
It's just not necessary. I don't care what anybody.
Well, a documentarian disagrees.
Who cares what anybody?
What, you had America's, apparently first gay president that's worth talking about.
Is it? You think it's important that we tackle it today, do you? You think more important than when it is that the toothbrush was originated?
Dan, I'm not sure exactly how we got here, but in a roundabout way, I'm almost certain it's your fault.
I don't believe that this is my fault. Roy told me about Phil Donahue.
Wait, it's not my fault.
You've been the one making all sorts of accusations all show long about the fake teeth of people. What is the most vain thing Greg Cote does? Because Mike Ryan is now out here with all of his sensitivities. He has put in front of America, the internet can be cruel, all of the ways that he tries to care for himself. I have found you over the course of our lifetime to be someone who does not care for his body parts very much. That's why your feet look the way they do.
I used to be a foot model. I keep saying that. Nobody believes me.
Because it's not true.
There's
in any
evidence
way.
of it.
Ooh,
I'm a man who is known to occasionally dye his hair. I will admit that. And just now in the makeup room, we had a little touch-up, little of that, little of the other. So that's vanity.
It's helping you. You look younger.
That's vanity. I'm getting younger. I'm like Benjamin Button. I'm 18 years old.
Wow.
In the makeup room, over
Benjamin
there.
Biden.
Wow over there was goading him on the subject of drones.
Not
I don't
goading,
know.
just casual convo.
No, you were. This is what you do. You are someone who fans a bonfire flame. Like you come over when the embers are dying out and you make it roar. What were you guys talking about as it related to drones?
Well, I just asked Greg a simple question about drones because I saw over the last week that FAU had released photos that they have drones now, and I don't know if it's to celebrate touchdowns or what have you during the football season. But Florida Atlantic has drones, and they had different formations of the drones. They have their owl. They have a different Florida State kind of shaped logo thing. So I was just curious, as a proud owl on the prowl at Greg, is what he thought about drones. We didn't get to the FAU of it because I just started with how do you feel about drones, and I got lots of feelings about drones.
Yeah, I'm an opinionated man, and I don't like drones. I'm anti-drone. Whenever I see a drone in the sky, I wish I had a shotgun. I'd be like a skeet shooter.
Well,
I'd shoot it right out of the air, quite frankly.
You can do that.
Why?
I'm anti-drone. I think it's I think they're spies. I think it's an invasion of privacy. God knows what they're doing.
They were just making the formation of an owl.
Yeah. No, that's. Come on.
Pretty clear what they're doing, actually.
Well, but here's the
That's
thing
not a
about
bad-looking owl.
No, it's a good logo. Here's the thing, though, Greg, and I don't know how you feel about this. There's lots of things about drones that bother people. Greg wants to shoot them out of the sky. He was telling me, maybe we'll get to later, that drones are going to replace Ubers and there's going to be taxis that are driving people around. And he said very soon.
Very close to that.
But I'd say here's my issue with these drones, and I don't know how you feel about this. Greg, we were just talking about one of our founding fathers. And what's more American than just blowing stuff up in the sky in fireworks? And these drones are now coming to replace fireworks. There's some shows on 4th of July where you don't even have fireworks anymore. It's drone shows.
Right. Yeah, you don't need fireworks anymore. Everything, you know when this started? When there were holograms, when there were tours by deceased artists using holograms. You know, and that's
laser
not
light
real.
shows.
Yeah, laser light shows.
This is not
talking
where
about the
this
Tupac
started.
thing at Coachella.
Yeah, AI.
You're just doing a catch-all right now of a lot of technically advanced phrases and words.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Greg Cote is vigilantly anti more information, anti-learning. His new Back in My Day book, you can get it on pre-order now. He longs for a different time. He is kind of against technology of all sorts. The idea, though, that the drone bothers you this much strikes me as unusual. Invasion of privacy because you often have them hovering outside of your home looking in on you?
Well, my neighbor happens to be a droner, you know, and so he's out there with his little thing like this and the drones flying. What is the point?
It seems like fun. You video, you get new aspects.
Fly it over your own house, though.
Did you not see the drone
leave
footage
me alone.
of the Panthers Cup victory? You get really sweeping, impressive visuals with these things. Also, laying out all the cards. I recently did something called Baby Foot, which is essentially a delayed chemical peel for your foot. Apparently, in 4 to 7 days, all the dead skin from my foot will magically fall off, and my foot will resemble that of a baby's.
If you take probiotics and antibiotics, do they offset?
You can never be too sure.
Right. When you have small feet like a baby, will it be difficult to walk?
It's a great question.
You're talking about baby feet on an adult.
Yeah,
yes.
he just said.
I'm talking about the size. I'm talking about the smoothness.
I misunderstood.
Yes.
Okay, because you're a big man walking on baby feet.
No, that visual would be very funny and jarring.
Thank you.
And hard to do. You're right. Yes.
Exactly. You save on shoes, though.
Vigorous swig? You feel like
You
that?
think I should take
well,
a-
it just
Oh,
seems
you
like
certainly
It was warming up. It did look like you were tuning up the band.
It seems like you're feeling pretty good about yourself for the baby feet.
When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. As Metalwork Media continues to grow as a content studio, we strive to hire only the best and most qualified candidates. Thankfully, with LinkedIn, they have made it easy for us to find them. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So, if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/prep. That's linkedin.com/prep. Post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Hey folks, it's Mike Ryan, and as you know, our show has changed a lot over the years. You guys knew me when I was 19 years old. I'm now a family man. 38 years old. Man, I've been in this industry for a long time. Grateful to be a part of this show and grateful for one of our longtime partners over in Miller Lite. So one thing that hasn't changed over the course of this 20-year run, the great taste of Miller Lite. Another thing that hasn't changed is that it's less filling. Why don't you tell me? Right now, I'll take an opportunity to lay out for a brief moment to listen to you and tell me what your favorite thing is about the original light beer. Go ahead. Wow. A lot of you spoke at the exact same time. I actually couldn't make out any of it. Whatever it is that you said your favorite thing about Miller Lite was, don't worry. This debate was sparked in 1975, and they still haven't settled it. You don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.